The date, January 6, 2020, was midnight for the United States of America. But it was a great day for festivities of those we've long trusted, particularly the power center that emerged from the city of Liverpool in Britain. This was the fulfillment of the long standing curse against the United States from the Axis powers, represented in popular culture by the Velvet Underground, Warhol, and Yoko Ono, all close partners of Donald Trump. What we saw when a mob overran the Capitol in a scene that could have been as tragic as the shootings at Columbine were the powers who created the burning cross for the KKK in the movie Birth of a Nation, who have long held power in Hollywood. The powers behind the films made by Ronald Reagan and his own presidency. Donald Trump didn't come alone, nor are the people responsible for Donald Trump finished with us yet. We have good people in the NAACP, in the community colleges, in places like the Chicago Tribune, newspapers across the country who can pull together and bring America to its senses, who can work to dismantle what has been created by an electro roster of persons who were put into place as a team network. The electro roster can be seen, for example, in the name Mitt Romney. If you add a slight Japanese pronunciation to it, it's Mitt Romney. Mitt implies baseball glove. They invented a game known as Two Virgins Pussy Ball, which they clocked to the AIDS epidemic. It's also like MIT. He was in Massachusetts Institute of Technology when he was in Massachusetts, no doubt. And it has the extra T like Pitt, where this game came from. A Christian war game, they say, although it was clocked to the AIDS attack. Meat Room Ni is like Meat Room 2. Ni is two in Japanese. Two Virgins Pussy Ball. They put this game together and laughed through the entire AIDS attack. And where did we get by laughing with them? By listening to Ringo Starr. We got the COVID-19 insurrection, where I was placed. I had been moved around by the Warhols from station to station. In 1984, I was at Fogg Medical Library for the incoming picture show of the AIDS attack. In 1974, they held me in a place called King's Estate, like King's Heavenly Estate. You will go to heaven. We are going to kill you. The men were pit men. Now, they kidnapped and tortured me. They would have kidnapped and tortured Nancy Pelosi. And they would have had juveniles cheering them. Their pet dream was articulated by their attorney Amanda Harcourt, who invaded our schools. They murdered Circe Kennedy. This was their idea of trial by combat. They murdered Kennedys. They ripper murdered a bystander over what they say is their penny trust. They released the AIDS attack and are going to take all the money from the poor for the much poorer. That's the Green Party at work. You are poor, but the AIDS victims are much poorer. So we're going, and this is the Trump image of human beings as the ultimate parasites, with no need for government whatsoever. They poisoned me in the mouth. They gave somebody who was trying to help them a stroke. They have killed and killed again. Rudy was the name of Midori Goto's planted agent who worked with Louis Lapham in humiliating me in Pittsburgh when I was tortured as a child. Cindy Rudy. Get it? Sin Rudy. Cindy Rudy. This is what I mean by an electro roster. Cindy Rudy claimed that I was friends with a man who tortured me. You weren't there. I was in trauma. I was being held hostage. And she was his lover. Why would she tell the truth? Where was my attorney? Pitt said no attorney for the laughing stock. And you stood there while they destroyed. And then Amanda Harcourt's pet dream is to have these Pink Floyd crazies overrun the Congress, take Nancy Pelosi hostage, murder the Kennedys, and say now Yoko Ono is in charge. You want to do something about it, dog eyes? So this is their whole idea. They moved me station to station. In Tacoma, they had their Burmese general, prancing across the campus like this on the eve of the COVID bomb. And they had an insurrection party. The COVID was part of the insurrection. And the insurrection is at work here too. And a lot of these people come with Tulsi Gabbard. They're like bug-eyed super patriots who want anybody who doesn't agree with them out. So the electoral roster has Kilmer, which is like Merkel. Get it? Kilmer, Merkel. And so you have this idea of Clint Hurdle at the Steelers, right? It's like Clint Eastwood getting the people who he loves, the gays, over the hurdle of the AIDS attack, getting them laughing. And so this is no different than invading Congress. It's no different than looting the Iraq Museum for these people. They have no scruples about, no concept of innocent. They simply, Robert Fripp, for example, who I would have gladly given the script if I knew what it was and thought he wanted it, stole it because he didn't want to acknowledge he was working with Lapham and Goto. He wanted to work with Rudy. He wanted to make it look like I should be scapegoated. He wanted to take the person who was a scholar hostage to the script. So he couldn't let me know that they were stealing with John Schulman, who was busted stealing rare books. He helped work very closely with Amanda Harcourt, Peter Gabriel, and the Warhol because they don't see. For Donald Trump's Illuminati status is the walrus. It's not President of the United States. Believe me, he doesn't give two anythings about the presidency of the United States. He just wants power. And his power grab means he's the walrus. So, he's talking about bikers. You should have seen slaughtering blows to the head of a 98-pound kid in Pittsburgh. And then they say, we are the top secret analysts of psychiatric fitness. Means if you don't spread your legs for Peter Gabriel and his mob, if you don't empty your pockets for Peter Gabriel and his mom, that is an act of violence against them. The people who released COVID in an insurrection.